Far beyond the safe trade routes, in the cold silence between stars, every alien child grows up hearing a story about a shadow that comes when the lights go out. The Karas tell of a figure that walks unseen through sealed doors. The Ha-Ruin whisper of something that moves faster than the eye can follow. The Veil remember a creature that hunts without leaving a trace. No one ever agrees on its shape or face until now. On a lonely mining outpost near the black edge of the galaxy, a sentry swears he saw it in the docking bay, a tall figure, standing upright on two legs, with forward-facing eyes that seem to look straight through him. No claws, no scales, no shimmering alien skin, just pale flesh, worn clothes, and a gaze like ice. He didn't speak, didn't move fast, but the moment he stepped forward, every instinct screamed to run. The sentry hit the alarm, but the figure was gone before help arrived, leaving no sign of entry or escape. The report spreads in hushed voices across the stations and colonies. The Boogeyman is real, and it looks exactly like a humanist species that should have vanished from the galaxy centuries ago. Admiral Tarek of the Veil Dominion had heard the stories all his life, but he had never believed them until the distress calls began. The first came from a cargo freighter found drifting in space, its crew missing, life support shut down with precision. Then a science station near the edge of Dominion space went dark, its last transmission a burst of static and a blurred shadow on the screen. The strangest part was that every security system, every lock, every sensor had been bypassed, not forced. It was as if the intruder had the codes, as if the place had been opened for them. Surveillance footage recovered from one wreck showed only a few seconds of a human figure, tall and calm, moving with quiet purpose before the feed cut to black. The Dominion Senate whispered in private meetings, digging into sealed war records that spoke of humans not as prey, but as predators hunters who could turn any battlefield into a trap. Tarek ordered a covert hunt, sending his fastest ships to trace the faint trail of sightings. But with each report, one truth became harder to ignore. The Boogeyman was not hiding from them. It was moving toward something and no one knew what. Koresh, the Dominion's best undercover agent, followed the faint trail through abandoned docks and silent stations until it led him to a bustling frontier trade hub. He expected shadows, danger, and a killer waiting to strike, but instead he found her. A lone human woman, standing at a repair stall, calmly fixing the broken engine of an old shuttle. She greeted strangers with a polite nod, helped a struggling merchant carry crates, and even smiled at passing children. To anyone else, she looked harmless, just another traveler in the endless stream of faces. But Koresh saw the way her eyes moved, never resting, always scanning the exits, reading every movement in the crowd. She carried no visible weapon, yet the air around her felt heavy, dangerous, as if she could strike in an instant. Locals kept their distance, whispering when they thought she couldn't hear. Koresh shadowed her through the market, past the docking bays, and into the dim corridors of the station, where her steps grew quieter, her posture sharper. This was no drifter. This was a predator walking among prey, wearing the mask of a wanderer. And Koresh had the sinking feeling that she already knew he was following her. Koresh kept his distance, following the human woman through the twisting corridors of the trade hub until she disappeared into an old maintenance sector, rarely visited by ordinary travelers. There, in the shadows, he saw the truth unfold. She met with a small group of alien workers, thin, frail, their eyes hollow with fear. They carried the scars of collars long removed, the marks of chains once worn. In a quiet voice, she asked for names, routes, and locations. On a portable display, Koresh caught glimpses of Dominion shipping records, each linked to secret slave trading rings hidden behind official trade routes. The missing crews, the silent freighters, the abandoned stations, it all fit together. She had been hunting not for random victims, but for the people who profited from such cruelty. When Koresh finally stepped from the shadows to confront her, she didn't reach for a weapon. Instead, she looked at him with a calm, almost pitying expression and said, "You think the Boogeyman is a monster? But monsters feed on the innocent. I hunt the guilty." Her voice was steady, almost gentle, yet her words carried the weight of a predator who had chosen her prey carefully. In that moment, Koresh's understanding of the human threat shattered. The fear that echoed through the galaxy was not born from mindless violence. It was born from the knowledge that once a human decided someone was guilty, there was nowhere in the stars they could hide. And as he stood there, he realized that this woman was not here to vanish quietly into legend. She was here to remind the Dominion, and perhaps the entire galaxy, that the Boogeyman was never a myth, it was a promise. The Dominion fleet finally cornered Mara on a drifting station that hung like a dying ember near a collapsing star. The station's systems flickered, shadows stretching across its empty halls as boarding parties moved in. Koresh was among them, his orders clear: capture or kill the human before she disappeared again. But Mara didn't run. She stood in the open, hands at her sides, watching the soldiers close in with calm eyes that seemed to strip away their armor and pride. Over the comms, commanders barked orders, but hesitation rippled through the troops. Something about her presence froze them in place. Koresh stepped forward, torn between duty and the truth he now carried. He knew if they silenced her here, the galaxy would never learn why she had come. With a deliberate motion, he activated his transmitter, broadcasting her voice to every channel within range. Mara spoke without raising her tone, yet her words carried like a blade through the silence. I am not your nightmare. I am the consequence of what you choose to become. She laid bare the corruption, naming the fleets, captains, and senators who had profited from the slave trade, exposing their crimes to the stars. In control rooms light years away, powerful leaders paled as their secrets spilled into public ears. The boarding party faltered, unsure if they were soldiers or pawns. Koresh made his choice in that moment, lowering his weapon and stepping aside. Mara looked at him, a faint, knowing smile touching her lips, before she turned and walked into the dim corridor leading to her waiting shuttle. By the time the fleet regrouped, she was gone, vanished into the void, leaving behind a galaxy no longer blind to its own rot. In the days that followed, fear took on a new shape. To the innocent, she became a whispered hope. To the guilty, she was a shadow in every doorway, a step in every empty hall. The legend of the Boogeyman lived on, not as a myth, but as a reminder that somewhere out there, a human still walked among the stars. And if you were the kind of person who made enemies in the dark, she might already be coming for you.